Hello MonsterCoders, and welcome back to another MonsterCoder development update. Today I'm going to show you a major milestone that we've been working towards for quite some time. You see, a lot of the AI tools focus almost entirely on generation. You type a prompt, something happens, you get output, but one of the biggest problems in software engineering is that developers often lose the visibility and control over what's actually happening and how it's generated. Because most AI is probabilistic, it's not deterministic. It has various probable answers, and it generates based on what the next probable word in that is supposed to be. So MonsterCoder was never designed to be a LLM black box or something like that. The goal is to combine real software engineering principles, structured project analysis, cognitive mapping, visualization, deterministic systems, and AI assistance into a single development environment that allows developers to understand their software at a much deeper level. Today I'm going to demonstrate 4 major capabilities that are now working together and exactly how they work in MonsterCoder. But I'm going to switch it up. Normally I use SGL Dev Engine, and today I'm going to use a copy of MonsterCoder source code. So what we are going to do here is I'm going to jump into MonsterCoder, and I have got source code, and I am going to load the project. And we can put Nunu away for now. It does take a bit of time. Okay, so we're going to load a project. The first thing I'll do is load a project, which I've selected, into MonsterCoder. As the project loads, MonsterCoder is going to scan and process the project structure and populate the workspace. What's important here is that MonsterCoder is not visualizing itself, but in this case we kind of are, because we're using MonsterCoder source code. So I kind of want to see what it looks like when I pull up the graph with a separate copy of MonsterCoder source code. So I'm busy loading it up there, and we are going to have a little bit of fun with that now. Okay, so in my previous video, you guys would have seen that I got some things working, which I'm going to cover again now. Let's give it a minute here. It's a bit bigger than SGL Dev Engine. You know, SGL Dev Engine I actually worked on a long time ago, and yeah, it's I kind of changed everything and the way I was working. So we will just pull up some stuff here from the cognition. Okay, I want to just detach the MonsterCoder runtime window here, and then I want to pop it in like that. Magic. Okay, now we have a visualization of MonsterCoder, which is quite cool, and I can also edit and work on my documents at the same time. So now, the thing is, how do we know that that is actually pointing to the right thing, and it is not just pointing to something else? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle through the documents here, and the previous time when I cycled through the documents, nothing happened. We just watched the graph. Well, the cognitive graph, the 3D visual runtime. So I'm going to start by just cycling here. Okay, there's our cognitive level. Event coordinator. Okay, cognitive level. And we've got here cognitive service. So we're getting the right registration between all our documents. And if I jump here to cognitive projection engine, we can see that we've got it there. Okay, but now the next part I needed to work on was also swapping between the objects before I render them as GLBs. So over here, persistent model pool and cognition engine. Runtime metric memory. Well, it's definitely a much larger program than SGL Dev Engine. Give it that. Drift Analyzer. New portal. Okay, so we are successfully loading complete other workspaces, but I do fear from these dependencies and lineage that I'm watching in the background that it is still loading some of the source code into the project, which it should not be doing, and that is probably also why the RAM is still quite high. Even though I have fixed a lot of the memory leak, 11 gigs is very high. I mean, I'm happy with 12 gigs, but I can get it better, and I will work it better. So that is the next step. So we've basically gone through the 4 important things, which is selecting objects in the software city, the software city synchronization, which we can visually see, and opening documents and cycling through them. So we can now open our documents and cycle through them, and when we do that, it changes to the focus to the specific documents in question, or related document, so that we can now edit that document. Why this matters. The purpose of MonsterCoder is not to replace software engineering. The purpose is to enhance software engineering. There's a more common misconception that modern development is just becoming entirely AI driven. I do use AI extensively. I use ChatGPT for research. I experiment with local LLM models. I test their capabilities. I push them to their limits to understand where they're useful, why they're useful, what works, what doesn't work, what's real about them, what's not real, what true model capabilities are, and how all these things work together. So I do a lot of that in my free time. But AI alone is not enough. Real software systems require structure, and they require architecture, and they require observability as well as traceability. They require deterministic systems that developers can understand and control, and MonsterCoder is being built around that philosophy. The AI layer is an assistant, and it's literally there as an assistant and a coding assistant specifically. So when that is done, let's go back to Nuno quickly. And we talk about her and not show her on screen. So when that is done, she will be working perfectly, and a small LLM, I believe, is capable of doing the work that these bigger enterprise models are doing just properly, because it's actually running through a deterministic system and not a probabilistic model that's choosing when, how, what tools to use, changing its mind about a tool the next time the token goes in, and the LLM outputs its reason. So yeah, these things that I was working with when I was entering vibe coding and agentic engineering, or what everyone wants to call it. I call it learning to code and develop, as I slowly stepped into the coding and development side, because it's what got me into it. Um, and yeah, I've since then I've started learning C sharp, and I love it. And yeah, I want to learn more and understand more and um, do real coding. I make the joke coding like a caveman, but it's very it's very important to actually understand what you're doing and why and how it all works together. And I'm grateful that AI has given a lot of us this opportunity where we didn't have it before. Um, and especially for creative people that want to put something out there and didn't have the time to learn, or the money to go to higher education and higher learning facilities to get these degrees, that had to start working right away and work 2 or 3 jobs just to make it through life. So yeah, now these people are getting to experience what coding is about and what they can build with it, and a lot of them, I believe, have gone into to furthering their coding, not because they want a job in coding, but just because coding is fun, and development's been around for a long time, and they've probably wanted to learn it for ages. Just like me, they probably had a whole bunch of C sharp and Android and Java books sitting at home that they just never opened until recently. So yeah, enough about me. Uh, the current status: today's milestone demonstrates the project loads into the workspace, documents editing inside the editor, synchronization between the editor and the software city, selection and identification of the project, objectives inside the visualization, bi-directional navigation between the architecture and the source code. There's still a lot of work ahead. I've got an entire GLB model library with skins and weights I was busy working on. And then, yeah, my agentic engineering, as I like to call it, was going brilliantly until not Claude, VS Code and GitHub Copilot decided to change from a subscription based service to a token based. I don't know. Still working around it. Basically, they put a price point on agentic coding and engineering, and what software is going to be developed at in future and what it's going to cost. So we'll see how this all turns out and around in future. But for now, I'm just going to keep focusing on MonsterCoder and yeah, my principles and my beliefs that software should have moved to this direction years ago. Game developers use visual software, but programmers never advanced to that stage. Um, a lot of them obviously like sitting with their terminal and their console, um, and I can understand and I can respect that sort of coding method, but um, I started learning in Unreal Engine, and I loved every minute. I still love playing around with Unreal Engine and working on projects there. And it made me question why software wasn't the same and built the same in an engine. Um, so yeah, I thought I would just build it myself then, and that is what I'm doing.